In this lesson, we will be creating a spiral bypass ring. And to do this, we'll be starting off with one of our Jewelry Counter Design Studio templates. So if I come into the Jewelry Counter Design Studio Light library, in the Ring Templates tab, we have several bypass templates, and clicking on one of these will open up that template file for us. So I'm going to go with this bypass round or oval template. Left click, cancel out of the library, and here is our template. Okay, so we have a curve, a bypass curve with datums on it that we can use to place ring shank sketches on to sweep around. And that's what we're going to do. We also have control in the history over some rotation and twists of these end datums, and we also have control over the sketch. Okay, so we can change the curvature, radius of curvature, etc. And we'll be making use of all of these controls. The first thing I'm going to do is come in with my center stone. I'll be placing a 1 carat round. Okay, so now let's check out these curves. We want to place our sketches on this datum here, our 6 o'clock, our other 3 o'clock, and then we'll place another sketch on here. Okay, just checking the datum orientation, you see we have the Y pointing out, the X into the back of the 3D environment. Okay, if I come around, I can see that the X for this datum plane is on the wrong side. It should be pointing the opposite direction. Okay, so I'm going to rotate this first of all. So it's going to be one of these controls here. If I drag my model stop up, I can edit one to see what it is controlling. Okay, so this is the rotate upper datum, this one, so I'm guessing I want the rotate lower datum. Okay, and I do, so we're rotating a -30. Okay, but I will want this to be on the opposite side, so I'm going to add 180 degrees to this rotation. So I'm just going to do a plus sign, 180 degrees. Okay, so now we have that X in the correct orientation for us. Okay, so whilst we're here, let's check out what these twists are doing. We'll edit the twist. Okay, so the upper twist, we're twisting about the Z-axis, rotating about the Z-axis of this plane. So we've rotated a -10 out. Okay, since we did flip this datum plane around, this twist that we have is likely going to be in the wrong direction. Okay, so we're going to want to twist a +10 to keep the symmetry to the other datum plane. Okay, so next we'll replay our manual stone, and then we'll come in with our ring shank sketches. Design sketches ring shanks. I'm just going to stick with the basic square with a comfort fit, and I'll place them at the 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I'm just going to place one in this datum plane. We'll copy it to this one later on. Okay, so let's give these some dimensions. We'll start at the 6 o'clock. Let's give this a width of 2 mm. We'll delay the solve. A height of 1.5, so that will be 2 including the comfort fit. 3 o'clock, we'll do the width 2 as well. We'll probably keep it 2 all the way around. Height, will increase it slightly. Okay, here width is 2, and we'll give it a greater height, 3.5. Okay, I'm going to regenerate the history. Okay, and I'm going to drop down this center stone just a little bit, I think by 1/2 millimeter. So I'll come into my template sketch. Let's drop this down to 4.5. Okay, now I'm going to the shape. I'll mirror first of all this sketch over to the opposite side. Let me hide these dimensions. Okay, and then I'm going to copy frame to frame this sketch from its datum plane to the other side. Okay, then we can come in with a drive curve loft, driving curve, picking the sketches, confirm. Okay, you can see the spiral building up here. It's looking a bit messy at the moment. Okay, I think I would like to have a bit more control around this curve. So I'm probably going to add in another datum plane. Let me do that. I'll undo the loft. I'm going to add in another datum plane. On the curve, the origin, right click. I want to do a curve surface intersection. Same curve, the surface being the side. So we're getting it dead on in the center there. Or in line with the 0 on the global x-axis. Take out the rectangle, and I'll give it the same twist that we had for our end datum. So that was a -10 or a 10-degree twist. Middle click again. I need to do the same on the opposite side. I can't just mirror across because that will throw our datum orientation off. Origin, curve surface, take off the XY and the angle, twist it out like that. Okay, confirm. Okay, now I probably should have come back prior to the copy so that we could just include these new datum planes in that copy. What I'll do is just drag the copy below. Okay, so we just rearrange the history there, put the planes before the copy, so then we can come in and grab these frames as the 2 frames as well. So then we use our drive curve loft again, pick our profiles, including our new ones. Okay, so I feel like we've got a bit more control there. It's looking a smoother transition. Still not perfect. So what I think I want to do, for one, I want to rotate these end datums so that this side comes further around. Okay, so I'll come back into, I think they were the rotate. So I'll edit the rotate, it's this one here. I'm going to increase this rotate quite a lot. Okay, so 90 would be, let's say 95 degrees. We'll edit the next one. Okay, we had our little equation in here, so let's just put -95 plus the 180. This should give us the same orientation. Okay, we'll keep the twists, play the sketches. Okay, it seems like we're blanked, sorry. Oh, maybe I was just not checking. Okay, so here are our sketches. Okay, it looks like this sketch is not staying true to the datum plane. Right click, relocate, let's lock it into that datum plane. probably because we didn't have the use centroid defined by plane locked in. So now we're locking that sketch onto that datum plane orientation. Play the mirrors, our other planes, the copies. Okay, and the loft again. And there we go, so we've brought that edge around. And that's not looking bad now. I think I just want to tidy up this curvature. To do that, we come into the top bypass ring sketch. I'm going to right click, edit sketch. Okay, you can see if I show the target, this is what we have in this sketch. And we can tidy this up, I think. First of all, I think I want to increase the size. I'm going to increase it to a, maybe not a 7.5, 7.25. Okay, we're just pushing our curve out a bit. Then I think I'll want to rotate, increase how far around our curve comes. Let's say 95 also. Okay, and finally, I think I'm going to tidy up this curve, make it look a bit nicer by modifying the magnitudes of our tangencies. Here's the magnitude. Okay, you can see how changing this can tidy up the curve, give it a nice curvature. Okay, let's see how this one looks. Okay, we've replayed there. Okay, it's looking a bit funny in this area here. Maybe we'll come into the loft and see if I can make a tweak in the loft as well. Blending. Okay, that's tidied up, the smooth blending. You could also modify the influence of different profiles. Change my step size. You can modify the influence to change the curvatures like this. Bear in mind the curvature will be changed three-dimensionally, so you have to be aware of that. Okay, I think it's worth dropping that down to a 0.8. I'll do for the same for the opposite side. Okay, I like the shape of this now, it's looking smoother. Save the work. Bypass round oval. Okay, now one thing I want to do is I'm going to want to increase the height of this side, or this end ring shank sketch. I want to increase the height of that, just so that we have this twist coming around to the top of the gem. Okay, you see here how it's dropping down again. So let's come back to our sketches. Okay, prior to the copy, I'll make a change. Let's just show dimensions. I'm going to increase it to a 4.5. Okay, so we'll have to drop our resultant copied ones, these two. We'll drop these down to the 3.5 that they were originally. Okay, and you'll see, if I delay this over this one, that when we are changing the dimensions after a copy, so these are copied sketches, we're changing the dimensions of them after the copy, you'll see that dimension modifier added into the history. Okay, because they're copied sketches. Okay, they cannot be updated throughout history as having that dimension because they are originally copied from the 4.5. Okay, so we'll play the loft. Again, that's a nicer shape there. We're keeping a good flow. Okay, so we're going to divide this ring shank in half now. Not on the side plane. I'm going to divide it on the top plane so that we have 3 sections, not halves. So here we have 3 parts of our shank. Okay, and we do this so that we can trim out some material in here separately on each side. Okay, so there's really not much more to this piece. I just need to trim out some material and then tidy it up and add some gemstones. So let me blank out the gemstone, sandstone. We're going to insert a sketch. Okay, now I'm going to grab some references. I want to reference the ring finger. Then I'm going to reference the outside edge of each of my parts of the ring shank. Okay, and I'm going to offset these and use them to create some faces in the 3D environment. I'll extrude the sketch to create faces that I can use to trim out some material. So I'll come into a plane view. Let's hide the part level. Then I'll offset. Let's offset this one first. I'll offset at negative 1.25, so that will give us 1.25 thickness. I'll do the same for the opposite side, and I'll do the same for these, but positive. Okay, now I'm going to come in and use my power trim to trim out. It'll click, use it again. Let's concatenate these 2 curves. Okay, so this space in here is essentially the material that I want to trim, remove from my ring shank. Let's exit back out into the part level. Let's extrude this now. Sketch symmetrically. Plenty of material, don't need to keep the profile, and we'll extrude it as a base. Confirm. Okay, so it looks a bit messy, but let's break it down. We have some faces. Okay, we have our shapes. Okay, so let's come in and we'll trim. Okay, so first of all, we'll trim one side, this shape. Okay, and we want to trim it to 2 faces. Okay, obviously we want to trim to this face here to trim out the bottom part. Then we'll see we want to trim out this shape, this face. Okay, so we'll be trimming out all of this area in here. Cap the trim region, and we'll keep the trimming shapes. The arrow, you can see, is pointing in the wrong direction. There we go, we've trimmed that out. Looks like our other side has blanked itself. Let's do the same for this side now. Trim the shape to this face, this face. We don't need to keep the trimming shapes this time. We'll flip the side, confirm, erase this face. There, we've trimmed out material from our ring shank to split this bypass. We'll save. Let's bring back our center stone. Okay. Now I want to tidy up the ends of my shank here. I'm going to add some fillets in to tie them up. First of all, I'm going to face offset. Ideally I want this end, this lower portion of the shank, to be coming into its opposite side, so they have connection, so that we have a bit more structural integrity. So I'm going to offset these faces, and we'll give them a decent offset because we will come in and fillet them. Let's offset. Okay, maybe 1.2 is fine. I also want to offset the top faces a little bit, not as much as the previous one, maybe just 0.5 millimeter, just to give them a bit of extra dimension. Confirm. Okay, so the first fillet I want to do is probably I want to try and add a fillet to this lower edge to give this some curvature up. So I'm going to come in with the fillet, asymmetric, or elliptical fillet, sorry. The edge. Let's give this realistic setback and angle first of all. This edge, okay, and which side? Okay, I want to pick this face. Do the opposite side. Edge. Okay, you can see that we want the control like that. Let's increase the setback. We can increase the angle now. Okay, we can play with the Koenig ratio. I think I'm happy with that. We'll come in with another fillet, elliptical again. This time we're grabbing this small edge. Okay, can't cope with such a large initial fillet. Let me unpick and grab again to make sure we have it right. Pick that face, pick the edge in the face again. We'll do the lower portions at the same time. Come to a wireframe, this edge, this face, this edge, this face. See what we can get away with now. Okay, I would like this to come in much further, really. Yeah, I feel like I may have come in too large of a fillet previously. So I'm going to back out of this one, or I'll just confirm it so we keep our values locked in so it's easy to edit. I'm going to come back and edit the first fillet. I'll reduce it a bit. There we go, we're able to get a bit more now. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Come in with one final fillet, just a regular fillet, sort of something reasonable. Now I'm just going to round off these edges. Okay, so you can see how this fillet tool is quite a smart tool. You can fillet over other edges and incorporate them into the fillet. Okay, I like that. Let's confirm. Save. Okay, so here's the spiral. Let's come in now with a setting for our gemstone. I'm going to use the wire setting. Round. Drop it on our gemstone. Now let's tweak it. Okay, the gem length is fine, it's 6.5. I'll increase the length of our bottom by changing the gem length bottom. I'm going to increase this. That'll do for now. Let's change my bend. I like to drop this down. I don't want such a bend in my prongs. Okay, I'm going to be erasing my the bottom bezel part and the middle bezel part, so I just want this top bezel part, and I want this top bezel height to be 1. Apply that. Okay, so that'll be 1. Let's also drop down our bezel, our wire setting. Let's say -0.15. Okay, prong height above girdle, this is for rendering, so I'll just drop this down to take out some of that material. Prong diameter top, 1 millimeter is good. Seat width, 0.75. Prong diameter bottom, I'll increase this a bit, 0.75. Okay, I want to have contact with my prongs with this material so that we have a join. Okay, I'm going to gem length bottom, I'll increase that a little bit more. Okay, this seems decent. Okay, I'll confirm it here. Don't need another tweak. Okay, so like I said, I will erase these, but just thinking about this, I would like to trim these prongs to the same faces that I trimmed this shank to. So what I'll do, I think I'll drag my wire setting in the history prior to our trim. So let's bring it back up here, just say here, to after our loft. Now I'm going to merge the shape. In fact, I'll come back in the history to after the wire setting. I'll merge it. Let's take out our center stone, add a little chamfer in there. Let's use the asymmetric chamfer. Okay, setback. I didn't specify a face, did I? Unpick last. Let's change this to a number so we can see the there we go. Okay, so I want my chamfer to come in line with the angle of the stone pavilion, so I'm going to cancel out this chamfer, bring back my center stone, go in with the chamfer again, wireframe, I'll pick the edge, pick the face, and now let's see if we can get this chamfer lined up. The angle, the setback first of all. Don't want to go too far, let's say 0.6. Now the angle. Okay, so that chamfer is pretty nice now. Be nice and lined up with the stone. Let's erase. The two lower portions of our setting. Okay, now we can replay our trimming commands. We have to extrude the surface, but before we play the trim, we will edit it, and we need to include the wire settings, the prongs, in the trim. Okay, so we're trimming this side, so we want this side of the prongs. Confirm. Next one, trim, include the other side. Play the erase, and there we have our trimmed prongs. Replay the rest of history with our fillets. Let's come in and just tidy up. We'll add a few fillets to the bottom of these prongs. I'll come in with a fillet inside this edge. Okay, I just like to have more of a clean corner. I don't like to have going into a tiny little point like that. So 0.1. Confirm. Let's try filleting these edges now. See if I can do a chain pick holding down the shift. Has it grabbed it all the way around? It has. Let's do the other side as well. Holding down shift. It's grabbed it nicely. Can we get away with a 0.2? We can. I'll confirm it there. Okay, we can add fillets later on to the other parts. Now I want to come in with my gemstones. So let's make the channel. We'll do this in the same way that we have before. Come to the wireframe, offset. So we'll offset some edges onto our face to create some curves that we can then inlay to create a channel or a groove for our Parveil's gemstones. So the face I'll pick first. We can pick this face and then our edges. And I'll drop this value down so you can see what's going on. Okay, so we're going to want a positive number. And I'm going to increase this to a 0.4 offset, confirm. Now let's trim these out. Okay, it looks like we don't even need this one at the end there. So I'll just come in and erase that. erase, middle click. Okay, so the method I'll use, instead of inlaying these curves, I sometimes have issues with the inlay. I'm going to freeform, split with curves, or split with curves, the face, pick the shape there, I just want to pick the face, and I'll pick the curves, I'll chain pick them, hold down shift. Okay, we've got them all, confirm, see if we got the face there, we do. Now we'll come into the face offset command, and we'll offset it a negative 0.25. Okay, that's looking good. What I'm going to do is, since these are symmetrical, I'll just perform my pave, prongs, cutters all on this one side, and then I can copy rotate it around to the opposite side. So first of all, I'm going to come in with a chamfer to get a bright cut. Chamfer 0.2. Can we chain pick? No, pick it one by one. Okay, get a nice bright cut in there, confirm. Okay, I can see that we have this edge split up, so to do our gems between two curves command, I have to come in first of all the curve from edge, and then I can concatenate that curve to create one complete curve that we can use. Okay, this edge is fine. Let's give it a color, confirm. We'll grab these two curves now. In the concatenate command, concatenate one curve, pave, gems between two curves. Pick the edge, and then curve B will pick the curve. Pick the surface, see how it's going. We want an elevation 0.2. Let's increase the number. I don't think I want to spread my stones, because then we'll get something funny going on at the end here. These stones can go tiny into the corner, so what I'm going to do is not spread them, but I'll give them a minimum distance, 0.05, and then we'll see what we can get in there. I think that should be fine. Maybe we'll give a slight oversize, 0.05. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. I'll confirm the operation. Come in with some prongs, scaled prongs for our scaled stones. Pick the feature. I'll drop my height down 0.3. We're going to be rendering this. Overlap, I like to drop this down 25. Okay, these prongs are for rendering, so we're taking away a lot of material so that we can see our stones in the rendering. Obviously for manufacture you want to leave additional material and an additional overlap, or a greater overlap. Let's come in with some virtual stones to get some end prongs. Okay, these looking good. How about at the end here? I think I'll do a component replicate. It might be nice to have just one larger prong in there, maybe this size. So I'm going to confirm. Check out our attributes. I'm going to drop down the dome to a 0.12 to take out those intersections, self-intersections. Confirm. Tools, component replicates. Let's grab this one. We'll just drop it at the end. Okay, we could put a few smaller ones in to fill up the space, but I don't think that's necessary. Confirm. Okay, that'll be fine. Next we'll come in with the cutters. We use pilots. Take out the elevation. See if we've got enough material removed. Okay, you can see the cutters are coming far below our gemstones, so we're removing a nice amount of material there, so we don't need to tweak. Let's merge these cutters. And then we'll come in and we'll merge the prongs. Okay, it's failing to merge the prongs. Let's do it in little batches. Okay, it's usually the end prongs actually, so let me unpick these. Let's see if it's these end prongs that are causing an issue. And in fact it is, so we'll leave them. Let's try and merge these ones. Let's hope I didn't pick them all for nothing. Yep, they have merged nicely. Okay, so it's usually, well in fact they haven't, we've lost a few here. I'm going to redefine last. I'm going to unpick the ones that we lost by holding down Control. Oops. Holding down Control to unpick them. We'll merge them separately. As I was saying, it's usually the prongs that are coincident on these sort of boundaries, the edges of our channels. These are the ones that cause issues. Let's see which one it is. It may be both. I did that the wrong way around. I'll pick the component, pick the base. That one's actually fine. Let's see if it's just going to do it, because we do it one at a time. Okay, it's this one that's done some funny things. Let's move it a little bit. Shape, move the component. Often just takes a small tweak. We'll do the dynamic move. Merge again. In fact, yeah, I'll come in with the merge prongs command. And that's gone through nicely. So we have two left that were disappearing when we merged them. So let's check that out. These two were disappearing, and this time they haven't. So the Boolean adding, subtracting, it's a CAD problem. It can often cause issues. In the full version of CAD Dream, you do have an add-on called Bulletproof Booleans that makes your life much easier. It is very good at doing the Boolean adds. But anyway, we've managed to do it here. Take out our JCD datums. Okay, now I can erase this side. I can then shape, copy, rotate, shape, direction, the z-axis, and it will be a 180-degree turn. Okay, with our prongs coming in. Okay, now comes to our stones. We cannot do a copy of components. Okay, we don't have that command. We can pattern our components. Okay, so we could pattern, rotate 180 degrees to get the same result. However, I don't often like to use the shape tools with components. In this case, it'll probably be fine. But just to show you a different method, we can come in with our mirror components JCD tool, pick the datum, and we can do a double mirror to get the result we want. Mirror once, mirror components. We've done a double mirror there. To get our gemstones in, obviously we need to delete this group of gemstones. We could come in and delete them one by one as components, or erase them I should say. However, a different method you can use is to come into our merge cutters and pick the merge remove. Okay, so this merge remove will not filter our stones out, it will not filter for the cutters only. The cutters, we're going to pick it as the stones, the feature, and the base, we'll pick it as this shape here. Now these stones are not coincident in any way on this shape, so when we merge remove, we will not be taking away any material. Our stones will just be removed from where they are, effectively erasing them. So that's just a little trick I suppose to get the result quickly without having to erase each stone individually. Okay, so this is about it. We can come in now and tidy up, put a few fillets on. Let's try and fillet. Okay, it's not liking that. Or it is. Hold down shift. Let's see. Okay, it's working for a tiny fillet. Let's change our step size. Okay, so it seems like the 0.7 is all we're getting away with on this fillet. Okay, I mean this fillet is primarily for the rendering, so 0.07 will give us the effect that we want. Change our color. In fact, one thing that we may want to do if we were to manufacture this is to come in with a post, a support post, to reinforce this area of our ring. Okay, the way I would do this, wireframe, isocurve on face, pick the face. Okay, I just want the U isocurve, probably drop it reasonable point around there. Coming with a 2-point line, the first point will be the middle of this isocurve. The second point, I'll right click, offset the reference point again right click middle of this curve. Then I'll start offsetting in the Z first of all. Let's increase the step size 0.1. Bring it down in the Z. Then I want to move in the Y a bit. Do it somewhere that I feel is appropriate. Like this seems fine. I'll confirm, shape, swept rod, pick the curve, diameter, let's say 0.75 millimeters. And there we have a support post. Just come in with a face offset 0.25 of this. Confirm. We could then copy, rotate 180 degrees. It's already set up. And then we have a small support post in there. Let's come in and combine, add everything together. Okay, we have one shape now. Give it a custom color, the white gold that I've set up. Confirm it there, and that is the spiral bypass completed. Come in and give it a rendering.